We are Southeastern 16, covering SEC football, and hey, there's a big one in Knoxville Saturday. Number 7 Alabama, number 11 Tennessee. It is the third Saturday in October. We're going to break it down with the radio voice of the Tennessee Vols, Bob Kesling. But first, let's tell you about BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source, everything sports betting. They've got every stat, every matchup, breakdowns, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games, with the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, to political props. Even when the game's over, you can go to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker or one of the over 150 slots games. So head over to their website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, big day Saturday, third Saturday in October. You've been a part of many of these. What a like tradition-rich rivalry game this is. You know, some people don't realize, I guess, the rich history of when Alabama and Tennessee meet on the football field.
Well, they've been doing it, for 107 years now, something like that. So goes back a long, long way before the Southeastern Conference was even formulated. And then you go back and look at all the Hall of Fame coaches and all the Hall of Fame players and all SEC players that have played in this game, all the All-Americans, and just all the dramatic finishes and the twists and the turns. And the one thing I like about the rivalry is there is not a lot of trash talking. There's not a lot of finger point. You don't see a lot of, cheap stuff going on. I think these are two programs that respect each other. I think they're two programs that understand their tradition and they understand the other team's tradition, and they just go out and play hard football, good, tough football. And that's why I've always kind of liked this game more than a lot of other games on the schedule each year.
And there was a while Alabama had the long win streak against Tennessee. It's gone much different since 2022. And one thing I've noted about this matchup, it makes it much better in the last 3 years that they've both been ranked when they've met. I mean, it brings a little more flavor, I guess, to this rivalry.
Yeah, it does. You know, it has been, I think, one of the things on both sides, when you go down and look, it has been a series of streaks. I mean, Tennessee had a long win streak there for a while, and there have been years where there have been 3 or 4 game winning streaks, and Alabama, of course, had the long winning streak, the 15-game streak. But it has been a game where it's gone back and forth, and it's swung back and forth. And each team has had its moment where it's held the other hand, and that made the next game even more important for the teams. And I think that's where this game is right now. You know, Tennessee won 2 years ago in a game that was Alabama could have easily won. Gibbs dropped that pass, and Alabama wasn't able to convert a field goal, and then Tennessee gets the ball and goes down and scores on McGrath's kick. But that game could have gone easily to Alabama's side, and that's what makes the rivalry, really special, because of the fact that it's kind of unpredictable. I mean, everybody wants to figure out what's going to happen Saturday, and none of us really know until they start playing, because it's going to be emotions and just hard play, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk Tennessee. I mean, they sit 5-1 on the season, only lost to Arkansas a few weeks back, went to overtime with Florida on Saturday. Where do you see this Tennessee team at this point of the season, 6 games in?
Well, I think the one thing that's missing from this year's Tennessee team offensively is the big splash plays in the passing game. I think everybody thought that Nico Iamaleava was going to be one of these next great quarterbacks, that has come along in the SEC. And so far it hasn't. He's playing like a redshirt freshman at times. But I think that the Tennessee fans, the hype was so much, because Nico was around last year, and everybody kept waiting. Well, wait till we get Nico in there. Suddenly Nico's come on, and it hadn't been the instant sensation that I think everybody was hoping for. I think if you would have told people that Tennessee would lead the SEC in the number of rush attempts and not pass attempts, I think that's what really would have surprised people. And that's the way it's been. Tennessee has relied so much more on the ground game this year, because the passing game just hasn't clicked the way they had hoped it would, whether it's pass protection, whether it's the receivers not getting open, whether it's the quarterback maybe being a little late on his throws. who knows? I mean, it could be a combination of all of that, but it just hadn't clicked. And defensively, that's where they've carried Tennessee. The defense has made big plays, and they've really not allowed a lot of points. And so Tennessee they haven't had to score 50 points to win games this year, and especially in the SEC. So that's been the biggest difference. Now we'll see if they can get something cranked up against the Alabama defense, and whether they can take advantage of Alabama. Bama's had a hard time getting off the field, especially last week against South Carolina and some other games this year. And we'll see if Tennessee can put together some drives and go down there and score and do it in rather quick fashion.
You mentioned the ground game. Dylan Sampson, just tremendous so far this season. 699 yards. He's got 15 touchdowns. Deshaun Bishop also has been a nice back. Talk about those two guys and Dylan Sampson, just what he's brought. Again, that's kind of been the spark for the offense this year.
Yeah, Dylan Sampson was good last year, but he didn't get to play a lot because of Jalen Wright, who was just spectacular too for Tennessee. And so, but Dylan was patient. He was good when he got a chance to play, but he wasn't the featured back last year. And so in the offseason, he got bigger and faster. I mean, he was already an outstanding sprinter. He's a track star out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So he had great speed. And he'd shown that breakaway speed once in a while. But I think what you've seen this year is he's running with a lot more power. I think about 400, and I just kind of off the top of my head, maybe 450 of his yards are gained after first contact. So that means he's breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage. Good running backs make the first guy miss, but I think Dylan Sampson is running through that first guy and getting into the secondary. So he could very well be 6 for 6 this year on 100-yard games. He had 92 plus, I guess, at Arkansas. But he's been really the shining star in this offense, and he's got the bulk of the work. Deshaun Bishop is a local product from Carnes High School here in Knoxville. Wasn't really heavily recruited. People weren't sure just how his speed was and those type things. He rushed for over 8,300 yards in high school. So he had to have something going for him. So he comes in as a featured walk-on, got hurt last year, and so didn't play. And now this year he's come on and is earned the backup running back spot. And he's a good back. He's very patient, and he runs with a little with low pads too, and he's able to run through some tackles and gain extra yards. But he has really been a pleasant surprise as the backup running back. He's really had a very solid season.
Looking at the defense, I mean, we knew the defensive front coming in was something special. Some big dudes up there, some playmakers up on the front of the defense, the pass rush. Talk about what you've seen from those guys and what they can do Saturday and putting pressure on not only Jalen Milroe but the run game of Alabama.
Well, the front seven was highly regarded coming into the season, and they have not disappointed at all. They're deep. They'll have 10, 11 defensive tackles. They'll rotate them. It looks like hockey line shifts. They'll play 3 or 4 plays. Then here comes 4 fresh guys in. James Pierce is a guy off the edge that really has put pressure. Josephs has done also a nice job putting pressure. Their linebackers are solid. They had a big loss at linebacker this week as Keenan Peely is out because he tore his ACL in the Florida game, and that's a big loss. Peely is a guy, veteran guy. He started college in 2016 at Brigham Young. So he's a veteran guy. He's been around for a while. He's one of those guys that redshirted his freshman year at BYU, went on a Mormon mission, and then it came back and resumed his college football career, graduated from BYU and then transferred to Tennessee. Too bad for him. I mean, he got hurt in the first game last year and didn't play the rest of the season. And then he decided to come back and had a good summer. He's been a great leader on this football team, and it's a big loss for him because he was leading tackler. He's a guy got everybody lined up. He didn't miss tackles. He would fill holes. He knew how to play, knew how to take right angles, and so they're gonna miss him. So Jeremiah Thielander, Arian Carter have to step up and fill that gap, and that's a big loss for the defense. But the front guys have been as good as advertised, and they control the run, and they are able to get pressure on the quarterback without having to blitz a lot, which has been a benefit for Tennessee this year.
How do you see the matchup going for the rest of the defense again against Jalen Milroe, who can move, but he also has some receivers, Ryan Williams, big playmaker, and Milroe's arm. How do you see Tennessee's defense being able to contain that?
Well, I mean, has anybody been able to contain it? Actually, when they get things going, I mean, that's quite a combo, and they're playing really well. You've got to keep Milroe from running. I mean, he's the number one run threat for Alabama. I was looking at his stats yesterday. I mean, he's run more than anybody, than any of the running backs, and so he's going to get the ball a lot. He's going to try and make things happen. So you've got to get him on the ground. If he starts running, you've got to get to him. Javon McCoy is a transfer that came in, and he's turned out to be Tennessee's best cornerback, best cover guy. And I'm sure that McCoy he'll get a turn to try and stay with Williams. That could be a really good matchup. They've got some other junior college transfers back. I mean, not junior college, but transfer portal guys back there. And then Will Brooks is the starting safety, and it's a good story, a walk-on that's kind of waited his turn. And so suddenly here's a senior, redshirt senior. He's the starting safety and has turned out to be one of the top tacklers on the team. So Brooks has been a really pleasant surprise. Has a touchdown on an interception against NC State, 85 yards. And he's one of those guys who just knows where to be and is pretty sure tackler. So the secondary, I think that was a question mark going in, just how good would they be and how would these guys blend together. But they've been pretty solid. I wouldn't say spectacular, but they've been solid back there so far this year. The defensive backs only have 2 interceptions, so they haven't been turning guys over, but they also haven't gotten beat on a lot of balls over their head, and so they played pretty solid.
All right, Alabama, Tennessee this weekend. What would you say are some things that Tennessee needs to do if they want to get this win at home against Alabama?
Well, you got to run the ball because that's Tennessee's MO right now. The strength is running the football, and you got to hope that maybe somehow the offense can come up with some of those chunk plays as we talk about, some of those easier touchdowns. And you got to contain Milroe. I mean, I think if you can contain Milroe, you can beat Alabama. That's been kind of the case all season. So, what Vanderbilt did, they just kept Milroe on the sideline, and he scored some points when he got on the field. But for the most part, Alabama kept him over there on the headset. And if Tennessee can do that, that would be a big point. Tennessee down through the years, though, time of possession has never really mattered much to Tennessee. Tennessee has been a team that's been around having the ball maybe around 23, 24 minutes a game because they score so quickly. Now their time of possession is up over 30. So that tells you that they're not getting those quick strikes or those quick scores that they want. So they want to do that, and they want to control Milroe and keep him on the bench as much as they can. So time of possession, I think, might be a key stat in this game coming up.
Well, should be fun as always when Alabama and Tennessee meet. How can folks listen to you guys on the radio, and when will you guys be going on the air Saturday?
We'll be on the air at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. We've got stations, of course, all over the state of Tennessee and into Alabama and North Carolina. You can go to utsports.com. We're on the Varsity app and all those Sirius. I don't know where we are in Sirius, but we're somewhere on Sirius. So we're all over the place. If you want to listen to us, you can find us pretty easily.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, previewing this game with us, and looking forward to talking to you again soon. Enjoy Saturday, and appreciate your time today.
Thanks. You too. See you later. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. We are Southeastern 16 covering SEC football. We're brought to you by BetOnline.